Varski and Monze.
Sugar babies.
What
Yo,
up, what up, what up,
what
what
up,
up, what
world?
up?
We are back in the building once again. I am here with the one and the only.
It's your boy. Back in full effect.
You know what's funny? We got to really get rid of that delay. There's a space there, right? And I think that we got to cut that down and do some real editing because right now, folks, we are flying by the seat of our pants. That's just how we do. That's just how we do, right? Because you know what? When I do this, I'm gonna push this button. You're gonna see exactly that I am.
That's what's up, y'all.
We in the building right now. But you know what? There's only one way to start it off, and if we start it off, we're gonna start it off right. Because welcome to the next episode of
Varski and Monze.
Cuzzo, we back again. My God,
with some more
man.
mindset and money.
Mindset, money,
Mhm.
motivation, money, mindset, motivation, and money. And what else we gonna do? We're thinking of everything, right? We only have one purpose, and that's to outcreate the system.
Outcreate the system, keep it moving forward.
That's it. That's it. Well, you know what? Right now we are here. Go up, goes up. My bad.
Oh no, I was gonna say, we brought a special bottle to the episode today. We're gonna do a little toast.
Yes, yes. Right here. Right, we got our Wray Nephew. We got a buckle full of wagwan.
So for the people out there in the world that don't know what this is Wray Nephew. This is like an iconic rum from Jamaica. It's overproof rum, so it's more than 40 proof, so overproof. And this is used for everything. It's used as medicine. It's used as elixir. It's used as libation. Anything used to cook, bake, everything.
You can use it to celebrate with a drink or celebrate with Easter bun.
So I haven't took a shot of whites in a minute. So your man Varski said, yo, let's bring out the bottle of whites. So
let's bring it out, man. We might as well, you know what I'm saying? Get some inside there. All right, pour a little bit. I put a cube of ice in my. Oh, okay, you did it too.
I got the natural. That's our natural vibes.
Like, yo,
we put the ice.
Look at this. Look. I got my espresso cup.
I got my shot glass.
All right. Salud.
Yeah, that was nice.
Whoa.
Yeah, a lot of people can't do one of those, but I think it's in our DNA.
Yo, it's perfect. Woo. Man, we're ready. You see me there?
So, before we went online, you were saying that a lot of people chimed in last week when we mentioned that June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes. And I know a lot of people don't feel like it's necessary to think about men's mental health. And, you know, we're not going to get into the whole thing about who runs the world or who does this, who does that. I just know who doesn't speak about it. Right. And a lot of times we go through things because if we speak about it, it's not necessarily the manly thing to do. Right. Because again, I think we spoke about it last time and we pointed it out. As you're coming up, you're told, especially in our generation, boys don't
Generation
cry.
X.
Boys don't have emotions. Boys don't, you know, men, big boys don't have those tears. Don't, you know, but in all actuality, all we were doing was raising a generation of people who repress their thoughts and actions.
And feelings,
And feelings. And now here we are, you know, no one really knows how to handle it. Right. So you start to act out in a certain kind of way, you become a little more defensive. I think I was watching Jay-Z one day and he said, you know, we didn't grow up knowing how to care and love women. We were raised by hustlers.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and the rough guys on the street. So when we see you, or when somebody looks at you, right, they're looking at you and you get kind of angry, like, yo, what you looking at? right? And his words
Yeah.
verbatim, he's like, "Oh, you think I see you? Not
Mm.
to say that that I'm ignoring you, but you think I see the vulnerable you, like, you feel vulnerable in my
Mhm.
presence. You think I'm looking at you. No, no, I'm not looking at that."
Well, there was a time when you showed too much emotion or when you showed too much feeling, people would take advantage of that.
Of
You know,
course.
people would be like, "Oh, homeboy's soft. Homeboy's not built like that. He's not a thoroughbred." So over time, you know, when you see people like lose it, lose their mind, lose their focus, and like we've all had different bouts with stress or anxiety or the pressure, right? Like uh, you know, I've been in situations where I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? Thoughts running through your head. But I've been lucky enough to always have a good set of people around me, have a good circle, or
Right.
just to do things that help me get over it. And even having the Varsky and Monze show, it definitely helps me. Just chatting with my cousin over some realness. Keeps me level. You know what I'm
I see
saying?
that.
So having those outlets has definitely helped, but I know there's a lot of people that don't have that.
No.
They're trapped in a box. They don't have the outlet. Their social groups or their networks have turned on them, or just as one would say, shit on them, and they don't trust nobody. They have trust
Nah.
issues.
But,
So.
it's funny you say that because I used to watch things and, coming up in the music industry, doing music things, yeah, and yes, I know there's levels to it. There's levels of, okay, you're just now starting out and everybody's getting going, or, you're at the mid-level, you're quasi-famous and so on and so forth like that. But you tend to get around sometimes when you're, like, in that, the click phase, and there's always the one guy in the clique that's, they might feel a little bit, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? They're in charge, right?
Mhm.
Then you start
He has the
noticing
bra-
that.
the bravado. Yeah.
Right, and you not to know sometimes when things take place, how quick everyone wants to turn on somebody else because of what he thought.
Mhm.
And you don't think to yourself that, later on down the line, that might be detrimental to that person's health because that might have been the only thing they knew.
Mhm. It's
All right,
true.
that might have been their world, you know?
A good example from the black perspective, the
Mm,
African American perspective, the African Canadian perspective, or even the Jamaican perspective, Caribbean perspective.
mhm,
A good element. There's a couple shows out right now that I do watch.
mhm,
So I like Power, Raising Canaan. It takes
mhm.
place in the '90s era in New York City and Queens and the hustler era. And also I like The Shy. The Shy touches on a lot of aspects of
Mhm.
different things that happen in the ethnic communities, right? And the pressures.
See, it's funny you say that because I hear people talking about it, and people are gonna hate me for saying this. I don't watch television.
No, a lot of people don't. A lot of
Right.
people don't. But me as a dude, I work in the film industry. You know,
Yes.
um I work in the art department, in the set decoration department designing sets and putting sets together. So I'm always looking for, a perspective, how to
Right.
tell the story with objects. But I resonate with those stories, those hood stories, because
Right.
I came from those
You came from
elements.
you see it. But
Mhm.
that's the thing about it is that we don't realize that a lot of those stories are speaking to us to relate to, right?
Mhm.
And I'm wondering sometimes, is it speaking to us to let us know what's going on or speaking to us to perpetuate the energy going forward,
It's it's like
you
it's
know?
like half and half, because it's like when I watch those shows, it opens wounds, old wounds, that I've been trying to escape from like my whole life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, man, I remember that. I remember a situation like that. Oh, I remember my homeboy got killed. I remember I had to go to the funeral, bury him over and over again. Like, so in one context, it does open old wounds, but in how they put the stories together, it tells it shows the authenticity of the inner city lifestyle and things people have to deal with to essentially escape those lifestyles and the
Right.
pressures, like the
Right.
violence, the guns, the underage, you know, everything, like too young to be doing all this stuff, chasing money, materialism,
You know,
hype, claim, all these different things.
you said that just now, and the key word I think you said in that phrase, believe it or not, is opening old wounds. Because a lot of times we don't open them, and they never get a chance to clean, right, and to
Yeah.
heal. They just kind of like they're still like you see them scabbed up and pussed up and everything like that. So no matter what you do, if you move around, they're still gonna open up and then pour out again, and they're infected.
Hmm.
Right. So when you said that, like you said something, I still remember one day, I know you remember it. And I don't know if, you told me, I think your friend was on the phone talking one day and something happened to him while he was on the phone. Right. I think he got hit while he was on the phone talking. Right. And I think he was murdered while he was on the phone in a car. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And
That's my good friend. That was
and
my
I
really, really good friend. Oh my
I had to
gosh.
call you and to ask you because I saw it down here,
Hmm.
right? And you're like, "That's my friend." I'm like, "Oh, wow." Right?
Yeah.
Because
That's
I'm
that's my
like
good friend.
I was like and you told me the story, I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy." Right? But you know, it happens as we're trying to figure a way out.
Exactly. And the thing is, at that point, I wasn't living in Toronto at the time. I was living in Vancouver.
Right.
Oh, no, 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 no. Actually,
No,
I
you were still
was
in
living
Toronto.
I was living in Toronto at
You
that
left
time.
shortly after that.
Yes, I left shortly after that because it got to the point where it's crazy that every weekend I went to a funeral. Every
Right.
weekend
Oof.
I was I guess in Toronto, you go to a funeral, if it's a close friend of yours, you get the shovel and you throw the dirt on him
Right.
at the burial grounds. So it was like a normal thing. Like every weekend, every other weekend, I was throwing dirt on someone that I grew up with. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. But I knew there was more out there for me in
Right.
life. So I kind of like I said, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. So I had my talents, I had whatever education I had whatever network I had, and I went for it. One of the first places that I went to was New York. So, at that time, a lot of my family lived in New York. Your dad was out there. I
He was.
connected with him. He put me onto a lot of stuff. But when I was in Manhattan, I got a phone call. I got a phone call to go on a tour because I was doing music at the time, and I went on that tour. And by the time I finished that tour, I got to go to all these different cities across North America and Canada, and that's how I discovered Vancouver. And then I ended up out here and I built myself from ground zero. And 25 years later, here we are.
That's crazy.
But it
That's
was,
crazy.
yeah, I come from a very violent neighborhood in that time, like you would say, like maybe 1996 to like
Right.
2002, it was ferocious.
I
And it
saw that.
still is. It still
Yeah.
is.
Well, you see, they had. I don't know if remember if you saw when not Shador, I'm sorry,
Hmm.
Shiloh did a video out in Toronto, right? And he was like somebody, somebody said, "Yo, is there hood people in Toronto?" He's like, "Yeah,
I
man." I
seen
said,
that video. So he went to like I guess there's a neighborhood in Toronto. Was it Galloway? It's a place in Scarborough. But
right. It
for
was
the record,
that's what they
for
said
the
in Scarborough.
people watching this that are from Toronto, they can resonate with this. There's hoods all over Toronto.
Right.
There is no nice neighborhood in Toronto. You could always find badness everywhere. Even in the
Right.
pretty places, there's a lot of ugliness. So, you know, Toronto is hood
Yeah.
everywhere. There's good and bad everywhere.
But
But it's I think cuz you have th- those so much different ethnicities. It's kind of like
right.
a Miami. It's like a
My
cold
yeah,
Miami
yeah. That's like
in
when
terms
people
of
come.
cultures, yeah.
They come down to Wynwood and they're like, "Oh, this is such a nice place. This is an art district." Hold on a second. I didn't know. I thought that was Overtown. What are you talking about? I think Wynwood. When did Wynwood show up? I'm sorry. Yo,
Mhm.
it's funny. You were telling that story just now, right?
Mhm.
And I don't think I ever told you how I ended up in Orlando.
Well, I know
Right.
you're in Fort Lauderdale for a minute, and
Right.
then I remember you saying, like, there's only so far or so much you could achieve in Fort Lauderdale,
You're not
and you're
you're
like,
not gonna you're not gonna believe when I tell you. You're not gonna
and
believe it.
tell me the story.
All right. All right. And the reason why I say is because you listen to this one, okay? So, of course, during when I met you, we were both
Mhm.
making music, right? My
Yeah.
dad was like, you should link up with your cousin and so on and so
Mhm.
forth like that. So when I started recording music in the studio, doing whatever needs to be
Mhm.
done, right? Just trying to build up whatever I had. Um, my brother-in-law at the time, right? He was like, yo, check this out, ready? There's a tour getting ready to take place in Orlando, right?
Wow.
Right?
That's the
Called the
same story.
called the Juice Tour 2000,
Mhm.
right? So check this out. I talked to my dude. We're gonna go up there. We're gonna audition. We're gonna take the songs that we have and we're gonna perform those. All right, cool, bruh. 4 or 5 weeks driving from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando for 5 months to Orlando, right? Get ready to go on tour. Come to find out the tour was a scam.
Oh my gosh. It was
We were
just like
all
to like
man,
pay a submission fee or whatever.
they were charging people. I think it was $300 to be on the tour.
Crazy.
Right, and then it was like, if you were late, it was another
Mhm.
$100.
They would charge you.
Alright, and then I remember I realized where it got kicked in because, like, I think something happened to where it was like it's like, "If you was drinking, stand over in this line," and he was getting ready to say everybody off the tour who was drinking, right?
What?
And then everybody in our group, because they knew him, they're like, "Oh, fuck it, we gonna jump over here, we should start drinking." We was drinking too,
Mhm.
right? And he was looking like, "Why did y'all get over in the line?" Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we kinda ruined everything. I guess we kinda ruined the plan, right? But
Mhm.
the bus was supposed to show up, no buses showed up. We in the middle of the parking lot getting ready to fight, right? Everybody out there getting ready to fight
Wow.
because we were at a nightclub the previous night before, and
Mhm.
these dudes, they was like, "Yo, yo, this whole thing is a scam. This whole thing is a scam." We was like, "Yo, how you gonna tell us that my dude over here's got a scam going on? Ain't no way my dude, yo, what the hell?" We getting ready to rumble,
Yeah.
right? But come to find out, he was right.
It was a scam.
It was a scam. We ended up just
That's
staying in Orlando,
crazy.
right?
Because you were there.
Because I was there. I'm like, so we ended up staying in Orlando, right? And I guarantee you that was probably some of the hardest part of the journey that I've ever been on for the time being.
Mhm.
Cause I sat there, I was living in the hood and I didn't even realize I was living in the hood. All right.
Mhm.
Somebody said, it's hard living over here in the hood, right? I said, where? This is the
'Cause
hood.
it looks so pretty.
I'm like, yeah, this is the hood. Y'all have grass over here. This is the hood.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
nice.
It was so pretty, yeah.
Man. I come to find out, sure enough, down the street, there was the jail. Right.
Wow.
I remember because my friend had got arrested. My
Mhm.
mind went into high mode. Okay, look, he said, man, they're not gonna let me out unless I have a job, and I don't know if they're gonna give me my job back. So
Mhm.
I went into hustle mode and I created a corporation, where I got the tax
Nice.
ID number, bank account number. But before I got there, I went to go get the paperwork notarized. And this lady looks at me and she's like, well, we don't do that here, but you might want to talk to your bail bondsman. Why would I have a bail bondsman?
So
I'm
he
right,
they're just assuming. They're just
just
assuming.
assuming, right? They're assuming I
Yeah.
have a bail bondsman, right? And I'm like, okay, fine. So I just kept the ball rolling, put it together, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing all this at 19.
Wow.
I'm
That's
19 doing
crazy.
this, right? And I'm
Yeah.
19 and I'm walking around with my daughter in a carrier,
Yeah.
right? So I'm walking around with my daughter in a carrier. We're going around here,
Oh
19-year-old
my
kid,
gosh.
putting her in the back of a Celica, driving around from place to place, just get and I'm
Wow.
pulling up at banks talking about, "Can I get this notarized, please?" You know, you know,
Wow.
and I'm wearing
That is
and
wild.
I was wearing my gym shorts, right,
Mhm.
from high school,
Yeah.
and they
Like
were orange,
yeah, like the
right?
gym issued one, yeah.
Right. I didn't realize what was going on until I pulled up at a Denny's, right? And some chick says to me, "Man, you better take them shorts off." I looked, I said, "What you mean take the" I said, "What you mean? I'm out here in public."
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, I thought that was them jail shorts." I said, "They
Oh,
wear these shorts in the jail?
man.
Oh, no."
So that's why the lady was like, "Oh, you better ask your
That's why
bail
she
bond
thought
because you were
yes.
rocking the orange
I was
shorts."
wearing the orange shorts, and that was the only thing I had, like, 4 or 5 pairs of those, right? But
Yeah.
my shorts said Piper High Physical Education on it,
That
right?
is wild. But they thought it was from the correctional
They thought I
facility.
was for correction. They thought I was from 33rd. I'm like, "Man, you out" they're like, "You out of there. You don't need to be wearing no shorts." I'm like, "What you talking about? These my gym shorts." Right?
That's
Man, I was so
wild.
naive to a lot of things that was going on,
Yeah.
right? So needless to say, all that went completely but I gained a lot of knowledge from that
Mhm.
situation, right? Which now leads me to this part over here where we're talking about was, right? I told you you wouldn't believe that, right? Right? So
No, that is
right?
crazy. Your gym
Yes,
shorts
right?
from high school, rocking them
Yes,
in Orlando
Orlando,
is
right?
the
And when you
same
say
as the correct oh my
and
gosh.
the thing about it is that you when you told me you went on tour you were going on tour, I'm like, "Hold on a second, I was too."
Yeah.
Right? I still
Well, it's
remember it's Juice Tour
opportunity.
2000. Yes.
Well, see, the thing is like it was a phase like when you got an opportunity, you took it. Kind of like that Eminem song. You only got one shot.
We get one
Don't miss your
shot.
chance to blow. So you
It's
so when so whenever you got that opportunity, you ran with it.
you ran
And
with it,
and
man.
and my whole thing was like, what's the worst that could happen? I got to come back home. But I'm not planning to come back home. I'm just
Um,
going to go after this opportunity and luckily, but it's not even say luckily. It's like cuz luck is actually preparation meets opportunity.
opportunity. That's it.
Preparation meets opportunity equals luck. So I was prepared for it. I got the opportunity, and one opportunity led to another opportunity. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't just like a total straight up trajectory. There was ebbs
Mhm.
and flows, there was ups and downs, but it led to one thing, it led to another thing, it led to another thing. Like
Right.
because the tour got me to Vancouver, but I got to see a
Right.
lot of different cities before I got there. And then when I was in Vancouver, um, I always looked up to like Tupac and Will Smith and LL Cool J, like how they transcended. They were like top top artists, top MCs, top rappers, but they got into the movies. So
Right.
my thing was like, if I'm not doing a show today, if I'm not in the studio recording, I'm gonna get an agent and I'm gonna go on a movie set. So I started doing that. And I started, I had all these different skills. So I started getting in all these movies. When I'm on the movie set, I'm pretty authentic. I'm pretty like raw. So I don't care if I see somebody that looks like a celebrity or somebody that knows something. I'm talking to him. I'm getting the contact. I'm doing my thing. You know what I mean? I'm listening. I'm following the cues. And then, I just kept getting called out, to all these different shows, all these different networks, auditions, this and that. And then, that went really well for about 5 years working doing film stuff at the same time doing music
Wow.
and it paid my rent, bought me food, got me opportunities, took me to other cities. But instead of going back to Toronto, I would always come back to Vancouver.
Right.
And then as time progressed, I got hooked up with somebody that got me into behind the scenes. So being a production assistant, like starting from ground zero. And then, I took all these like short little workshop courses that were mandatory to get into the union. You had to do so many days. And then I did that. And then I paid for that. And then I kept working and networking, talking to people, and then got into different departments. I signed up for electrics. I signed up for grips. I signed up for set deck. Then I like set deck. I got working in the art department, working with the designer, the decorator, all these different people, getting to know all these different vendors, and just worked it. Just worked it like just always did a good job because in entertainment, you're only as good as your last 15 minutes. So
That's it.
I always made sure I left a good impression, you know, and I killed it every time I went out. I treated every day like it was like my last day, you know,
Wow.
and I just went hard. And still to this day, I'm still doing the same thing. And I
Yes.
still and every day when I go to a movie set, I treat it like it's like my only day. It's like my
Like the
first
only
day.
day. That's
Yeah.
it.
Still
Like
to this day.
like, remember, was it Jay-Z said in that line, you know, like I never throws to a demo, like I or he said that song where he said, he had that big voiceover. He said, you know, "Every I treat every day like it's your first day."
Mhm.
Right? Treat my first like my
100%.
last. I still remember, man, because it's like it's funny you say that, right? Because here on this side, like I feel like we were running parallel and didn't even realize it. Right?
Mhm.
I remember when I got here, right, and everyone was making moves, and I just couldn't figure out what to do because it's like everyone was like years older than me.
Mhm.
Right, and here
You're
I
like the young
am,
dude, yeah.
I'm talking about I'm 19 years old, and then I got this girlfriend at the time, and her
Mhm.
brother's here, and, everybody else is growing, and you looking "Well, what do I do? What do I do?"
Yeah, I
Oh,
gotta get in line. Yeah, I gotta make something pop. Yeah.
man, I'm trying to do everything that they do. They're over here, they're installing water softeners, they're driving up and down the state of Florida. I'm like, "I've
Mhm.
never been in this situation before, I don't know what's going on." Right?
Mhm.
Boom, I get fired. Right? Go there, do something else, come back, get fired again. Bruh,
Mhm.
1 year, I got fired 17 times.
Holy smoke. But you know
S
what?
Alright.
Looking back at that now, look at all the experience, look at all the
Man,
resilience. We always talk about that bounce back. Look at that bounce back you got right now.
dude,
It's like,
I'm o I'm okay with it. Like I said, it's when it
yeah.
comes down to it, I look at it, right? Because when I looked at that, right, 17 times going in, you know when the last time kicked in,
What's that?
right? The last time was like, I forgot where I was. I didn't even get fired that time. Alright. What I did was I ended up out on the street selling,
Mm.
coupons.
Mm.
Coupons, like, for, like, Domino's Pizza and
Yeah.
cruise, right? And I remember with a company called DS Max, and they would tout how the guy would go buy, utensils from, like, Macy's and then come back to people's doors and sell them to people, right?
Wow.
Right. So I'm over here and I'm learning how to do this, right? And I'm like, "You know what? I don't wanna do this anymore."
Mhm.
Right? I'm sitting there in my apartment, I'm about to get evicted, right? In fact,
Wow.
we got evicted. I remember sitting on the couch because we had no real furniture,
Mhm.
sleeping on the couch in the middle of the living room, and the guys came in and saw us still living there. Alright, I went
Oh
from
my
there.
gosh.
Yes, man, it was crazy. Like, you think about it, right? Alright, I went from living there, right, and just asking people if I could stay at their house, alright, and I ended up staying at a friend's house, but for the first couple weeks, I was living in their garage. Right? Now this isn't
Wow.
one of those garages
Var.
where it's like, "Oh, this garage became a studio."
Mhm.
They made music inside there, but this is like literally a regular garage. There's no AC,
Yeah,
no fans, no nothing.
I
You know,
love it.
you go inside. I'm sitting here, there's roaches flying around because it's from outside.
Mhm.
Not because they were dirty people. No, it was just roaches from outside.
Yeah, like
Right?
Florida got roaches, flying roaches.
Like this big palmetto bugs flying around inside
Yeah.
there, right? And
Mhm.
you sitting here like, you just trying to sleep, and it's like the heat is there, and it's like you're just trying to figure out what's going on. Finally, I ended up sleeping on the couch, right? In the
Wow.
living room, right? And it's like, and I ended up at the car dealership,
Mhm.
right? And how I got to the car dealership was I was I left my apartment one day, right? And I walked from my apartment up and down 436, right? Up and down that road, right? Applying for job from here to there. Just like, okay, let me fill out an application. I filled out an application. I filled out an application at Mazda. I filled out an application over here at Nissan. I filled out an application over at DuPont at Sherwin-Williams. I filled out an application here, there. I walked all the way around. All right. I had no phone. You know what I would
Man,
do?
that's a movie.
Bruh. I had
That's a
no phone.
movie.
I had no phone, cuz you know what I did? I went to the leasing
Payphone?
office. No, I went to the leasing office, right? And I said, "Okay, this is my new number. If you want to reach me, call me here." Right? And I would get before they would call,
Wow.
I would get up and call the dealership. Hey, just want to know if any word of my application. Hey, just want to come in here,
Mhm.
right? And I
Wow.
still remember, man, like a dude named Sandy Johnson,
Mhm.
right? He passed away a couple years ago, right?
Mhm.
Right. Dude, and I'll tell you, that's a funnier, that's not funny, but it's an ironic story to that
Mhm.
also, right? Sandy Johnson looked at me and said, "All right, here's the deal. I like you. I don't know what it is I like about you, but you have something about you I just really like."
Oh
Right?
my gosh.
He says, "You have no bad habits. You ever been in sales before, car sales before?" I said, "No." Right? He said, "Good, because you have no bad habits. Uh, there's a sales training class getting ready to start in 2 days. Can you make it?" "Yes, I can make it."
Wow,
'Cause though I had no
Var.
car.
That is
I had I had no car.
crazy.
I had no car, and people would just give me a ride, right? To there, right?
Wow.
Right? I had no car, alright? And I was like, "No, I'm gonna make this work." Alright? I ended up there was times where I was taking I would take a taxi home from working at a car dealership.
Mhm.
My credit was horrible, I had I couldn't figure out how to buy a car, I couldn't do nothing,
Man,
right? Man, I'm telling you, dude, you look back on it, right?
the come
This
up. Oh my
dude,
gosh.
this people don't understand where you come from.
Oh my
People don't see where
gosh.
you come from, right? They you people look and they criticize where you are, but they don't know where you were,
Mhm.
right?
Wow.
You can't compare stories. And this is what a lot of times when you say this is one of the things that we're divulging right now for the audience,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
For that men's mental health awareness month. We all start from somewhere and it may not be where
Of
we want to be,
course.
right? And I learned a long time ago. I still remember there was a guy, he was working he owned a puppy store
Mhm.
selling puppies. And my family would go in there and just pet my daughter and everybody would go in there, pet the puppies, and then leave and cry, "Oh, we'll never get a dog." And we ended up getting two,
Yeah.
right? You
Wow.
know, and he says to me one day, right, his his wife at the time, she up and left him,
And he still
right?
kept up the business and ran
He
the
kept up the
business.
business as much as he possibly could. And
Mhm.
he said, "Let me tell you something, brother. I didn't want to come here, but I realized one thing. I may not be where I want to be, but by getting up every day and moving forward, I'm not where I was."
Yes.
I was like, "Ooh."
And hold
That
hold hold up 1 second, cuz I just
yeah.
wanna say, I know you're okay, that part of the story, I didn't know it in detail, but I know how your story progresses, and that grind, that hustle, that I could relate to it. Like, we
Oh,
all got
yeah.
a story, some more in depth than others, and I look at you now, those salesman skills, that's
Oh,
why you excel where you
oh,
at right now.
dude. Dude, I took those sales that that right? If I coulda got a chance to thank Sandy for believing in me that
Wow,
time,
and he's
it
not
would have
even
been
here no
he's
more.
not here's the funny thing about it. Alright, so I'll say it like this. Those skills took me from selling cars
Mhm,
here. I ended up selling cars in Fort Lauderdale,
mhm,
right? Paid for my entire wedding, walked away from that because I
mhm.
didn't want to sell Chevys. Came
Yeah,
back to Orlando, worked at the
mhm.
same dealership again. Left that
Wow.
dealership, went into timeshare.
Mhm.
Timeshare sales, monster.
Yes.
Psychological, meant everything,
Yes.
emotional. You thinking about
Yes.
it. 1 minute they're talking about, and this much is gonna cost. This is great. Yes. You know
Yeah.
what we have to do now though? We have to
Yeah.
buy this. And this is gonna cost you $20,000. We can't do $20,000. What can you
Yeah.
do? I could do
Yes.
10. Okay. Hold on,
Yes.
give me your credit card. I'm gonna go find out if it can be doable. Yes.
Woo!
Right? And you're back. Guess
I
what?
love
Now we're
it.
going on lifetime vacations. These are the things
Yes.
that these transpired from learning
Mhm.
everything that I've learned from selling cars.
Oh,
Right?
man.
I thought selling cars had training knowledge. Mm-mm. Selling timeshare?
That
Man!
that took you to another level. And no,
Woo!
the timeshare people, they're a beast. Like, their sales skills,
Monsters.
intense, especially in Orlando, because
Right?
Orlando's like the vacation capital of the world.
For
So
people bro, I'll tell you like this, for people who thought I was a monster in sales, if you know me and think I'm a monster in sales, I was surrounded by monsters.
I know, so you had to
Right?
compete. You
I
had to
was
compete.
surrounded by monsters, right?
Oh,
These guys were
man.
different, right? But needless to say, that took me to where I am right now, where I met a young
Uh-huh.
lady named Patricia,
Yeah, I
right?
think you told me about her, yeah. She's like
Sh
a top earner
top
at your
dude, top,
at the
right?
technology company you're
Right?
at, yeah.
And she has the same birthday as my mom. Took me in as soon as I came in here,
Mm,
told me, "Take everything, slow it down. Learn it." And she would tell me, "Learn everything on that wall and come back and tell me." Okay, cool,
mm.
right? A decade later, 11 years later, still there, still telling
Wow.
me what things, showing me what's going on. She works at a morgue,
Mhm,
right? Lady walks in to her one day. She said, "LeVar,
mhm,
I need you to take her." All right? I
mhm,
don't know why, I just need you to take her.
mhm.
Okay. So she had an attitude and everything,
Yeah.
right? Talked to the lady. She said, she was in there talking and she was frustrated and pissed off. She's like, "I just dealt with the funeral and da 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 da." And she's
Mhm.
talking and she says, "Hey, and Sandy, Sandy Johnson?" She stopped in her tracks. You could see her just turn. She was already white, right? But she turned pale. You know how white folks do, right?
She knew her.
That was his new ex-wife. That was his new wife.
Wow.
That was his wife, right? And she said, "Did you know Sandy?" I said, "Sandy gave me my first sales job when I came to Orlando and said, I'm hiring you because I really like you and you have no bad habits and I think you're going to be good at this."
Wow. It's so
And
funny how
she
things work
started
like that.
crying. She
Oh
started
my
crying.
gosh.
And here's the funny thing about it is Miss Pat that brought her over
Mhm.
to me, she's the one who did his funeral because she worked at the mortuary.
That is crazy. Before she started working at the company.
No, while she's
At
there,
s same time, that was
same time,
a
just
part-time job.
a couple days prior. A
Oh
couple days
my
prior,
gosh.
she just did the whole prepping for the body and everything that she worked at the morgue.
So that's why she's like, "You deal with her," 'cause I've been
Yes.
dealing with this lady. I've been dealing with this,
Yes.
oh my gosh.
Yes. Right?
And
And it's
yet,
like
she didn't even know you knew the husband.
right, right. So when
Oh
you
my
look at it,
gosh.
and from when I heard about it, he went through so much, right?
Mhm,
Especially in car sales and everything else like that. He was just trying
mhm.
to find a way to make it work, you know?
Man.
And I think he just got really ill shortly after because of the amount of stress that he had on him.
Mhm.
The
That
amount
he
of stress
'cause of the car dealership and the pressure of
yes,
running the business,
dude,
this
it's
and
just
that.
everything. And then the life he had after
Whew.
that, it was ridiculous, right? Right. And I was just like, you know what, man? He one of the greatest people I've met. I don't know how anybody else saw him outside of that.
Mhm.
Charismatic dude. You talking
And
about
he gave you that chance, you know what I mean? He gave you that
yes,
opportunity. He's seen the
yeah,
hunger.
yes, man, right? And it's like you don't realize it's like people look at me now like I'm a monster, but somebody
Mhm.
else saw it way before everybody else did.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
You know,
it's
because
true. It's
he
true.
saw it before I did.
It's true
Right?
because so even when we started the production company, when we're producing all those YouTube videos with all the
Yes.
celebrities and interviews and concerts and stuff like that, the first person I thought to when it came to post, I'm like, I'm gonna holler at LeVar. You know what I mean? Because I could trust his vision. You know what I mean?
Right.
I seen stuff that you had done before. Plus, I think you at the time you just had graduated from like
Valencia?
like the technical design and editing,
Yeah.
and like you did this big program
Valencia College,
with
I remember.
post production editing
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I go, you're the perfect person for this. You know what I'm saying? And when we're working at when we put that company together and we're producing all those videos, I I purposely wanted it to be structured in a professional, just like how I do at work on a daily
Right.
basis. So we follow all those formats, but just on a smaller scale. And I think at that time, um, I would send you FedEx with hard drives
Hard drive.
to edit
Oh, man.
to edit footage.
Hard drives,
And
and then we finally got a Dropbox.
yeah, then we got a Dropbox, and then you would pull it from the Dropbox, and no, that there's so many stories, people like
Man.
Varsky and Monze. We did not just appear from nowhere. So
No.
I
No.
know a lot of people, they see our production value, they see the aesthetics of what we do, they hear the content, they hear the stories we talk about, um, being in different cities across North America, and Toronto, New York, Florida, Vancouver, California, like everywhere. Like we've been so many different places and done so many different things, and man, we're just getting started. Like
Dude,
all the trials and tribulations that we've been through, we're putting it out right now. You're
this
getting
is
to
the
see the
which
uncut, raw. You're getting to see it right
cut
now.
and serve raw, baby.
Hmm. And we promise, when it comes to mindset and money, we're dropping that knowledge that's going to help you grow. It's helping us grow. This is how we
Look,
got to this point. Like, we could tell stories forever, but we've been keeping our episodes either half hour or max 1 hour, but we don't want to like bombard you with too much stuff. But we advise you,
man,
if you want to get your grow on, you definitely got to tune into Varsky and
tune
Mons
in.
and
I
hit us up.
if it's okay, I'll say it like this, right? We got a few more weeks left in this month.
Hmm.
And if there are guys that are listening to this who are feeling like you're out of place, if you're
Stuck.
feeling like you're stuck, if you feel like you're upset because your girlfriend left you, your wife's leaving you, your relationship is upside down,
The bills
that's
piling up.
okay. The bills are piled up. That's okay.
It's
I want
fine.
you to it's okay. You
Hmm.
just keep moving forward. If you
Grind.
lose things, you lose things. That's it. Whatever
Hmm.
you lose, you can always get back. If you're in a
100.
situation where your people who were around you in that hard time, they turned their back on you, they weren't your people to begin with. Keep the
That's
ball
fine too.
moving.
It's
Keep
a good
grinding.
indication.
That's
Yeah.
it.
What?
Right? You go through hard times for you, not for them. Right? And they
Hmm.
don't know how to take it. So what you do, like I said, just like the guy at the puppy store, one foot in front of the other. You may not be where you want to be, but god dang it, you will not be where you were.
Exactly. And we mentioned this before a few episodes ago. Focus on being better than what you were the day before.
That's it.
You know, little steps. As long as you could get up the next day, for one, you woke up. Two, strive to be better, a little bit better that next day. That 1% better every single day, you'd be surprised how fast 6 months, 1 year flies by like lightning. And then you see the growth, you know? And even if you don't see the growth because you're grinding, the people outside will approach you. The opportunities will
That's
come
it.
because you know what?
That's
You're
it.
growing. You're
Oh,
growing.
and for my young brothers and sisters out there, look, the mindset has to be we grow. Nobody in
Hmm.
this world did it alone, no matter what it
Nobody.
is. Nobody does it alone. All right. Nobody is a finished product. If a person becomes a finished product, if a man becomes a finished product, ladies, he's not going to want you because he's a finished product. He put himself together,
Hmm.
right? men, if she's a finished product, you don't have to worry, but don't try to ruin it because you know you're not going to get anywhere. Right? I think I've learned something a long time ago. Somebody said this to me. They said, men will take a woman on her way up, but a woman wants a man to already be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's not against anybody, it's just the nature of the world. Right?
Mhm.
I'm going to say this. We're all trying to get somewhere. If you're not in it for the long ride, don't go on the trip.
That's what's up. So keep
On that note,
grinding, keep striving, stay focused. Tune in. We're on 5 platforms: Apple Podcasts,
what?
YouTube,
What?
Instagram. Hit us
What?
up on TikTok, Facebook. Like, subscribe, repost, share.
Everything. Everything.
Yes.
Everything. Right?
Tune in
Honestly,
every week.
that is.
Manzia.
And again, once
You
again,
know
I'm your
this.
boy.
Varski.
And we're going to call it an end. Thank you for tuning in. This was
Varski and Monze.
That was good.
That was dope.
Varski and Monze.